We will shortly start again. So, next talk will be from Björn Butzen, who will present about inclusion in Larp. Björn, can you share your screen?
Yeah, will do.
Take it away.
So, hello, my name is Björn Butzen, and first of all, I'd like to thank you for the kind invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk with you about inclusion in Larp between challenge and experience of limits. Where can I? No. So these are the topics that I want to talk to you about. It's the limit of imagination, the limit of communication, the limit of vision and resources, and beyond the limit, accepting the challenge. So the limit of imagination. I think there is something missing. Yeah, okay. The first question I want to ask you is, where are the disabled larpers? And I can answer the question to you because we are there and we are many. You maybe won't see us because not all disabilities are visible. For example, I'm one of 3% of human beings that are disabled by birth. 3% is not that much regarding that there are 1 billion disabled people in the world. And if you look at several percentages, one can see that there are some things you probably won't acknowledge when you are just living your life and you are unaware about disabled people amongst society. Because the topic of disability is still mostly a taboo. There's a limit of imagination when we play larps with disabled people. We succeed in immersion in a greater or less extent when it's depending on the situation, the location, the participants, or unexpected events that are occurring now. But we often portray supernatural beings, and we are good at it, like pretending that we are, for example, a wizard. We acknowledge that a person that has the aim to present magical or wizarding skills and react to it accordingly. This is already a break of immersion, because on a meta level, we are fully aware that this is not happening in the real world, and all that we are doing is for the purpose of the game, creating a story together, and so on. So why then is it a problem when we are meeting with disabled people? One of my assumptions is that people that are non-disabled cannot imagine how life works when you have limits, or that they can occur in your life spontaneously. This could happen to all of you. People that are non-disabled at this very moment can have a car accident or something else, and they can be disabled within a blink of an eye. So we make assumptions as people that are non-disabled that we have to make the decisions for disabled people. The limit of communication is the lack of experience, the lack of imagination is always also a lack of communication. We don't communicate our own issues with disabilities in a really good way. So disabled people often get the feeling that they are not taken into account at Larps. But why is that? Because we can't find, as disabled people, the information we need, like the location, the game itself, participants, or the expectations of designers and organizers, and so on. Therefore, the effort and the energy I have to put in going to a lab is, beside the fact that I'm a disabled person and have to plan the whole journey in advance, I have to ask the organizers what I have to expect from the lab, from the location, from the game itself, maybe from the participants. Oh, sorry. And all that comes on top and costs me so much more energy than all the other non-disabled people, because the other people don't have to ask about all of these things on top of that in order to come to an informed choice. So now on to the next slide. What does informed choice mean? I brought you a definition from the NCDHS in 2023. You can read that. I won't read the whole paragraph because basically it's getting through this to get enough information to make a decision that I believe will enable me to deal with situations as they arise. What can we do to solve the problem? Please keep in mind that these are my personal notes. Don't make your minds about me and my disability. Don't assume that you know what I can do or what I cannot do. Because you don't know. Sometimes I don't know what I'm able to do. And I have to experience that at the very moment. Do trust me, as any other person at your lab, that I'm well aware that I'm disabled and that I can make my decisions for myself, and not that you, as a designer or organizer, have to make decisions that are probably not the right ones for me. Let's look at the situations together. Look at the situations together with me, with us, and stay open-minded that when someone comes to you with a need, that you can solve the problem together, and don't assume again that you know everything, because you can't. The world is diverse and there are so many disabilities that even we as a community of disabled people can't say things that goes for another person. Be willing to learn from people you meet and educate yourself. When it comes to certain situations, in my case, that's more on an intimate level. I need space and I need a relationship to people I'm talking to in order to get them to solve the problem with me together. Because sometimes this could be a bit shameful. Not only for me, but for the other person too. The other person has to be aware that maybe they have to touch me in a way that doesn't seem to be appropriate. Or they have to help me in rare situations, for example, at the toilet. And for sure, that's not for everyone. Recognize during a play, during a game, that there are certain needs. That could be physical barriers, that could be distinctive scenes or interactions with other participants that you could not foresee, but you have to solve on the fly. Be not afraid to solve the problem then with necessary knowledge that you get from your players and the calmness you carry within you. And above all, clarity in situations and unambiguity are most important for us as people that have the needs. What is it about the limited vision and resources? And this point is especially for organizers and designers. Does every event I organize have to be inclusive and diverse? Short answer is no. But when I see inclusion as a hurdle that I cannot make my life with all the visions I have, then I can say that, and I should say that. I can communicate that. I might have to face the consequences for that and probably counter positions, so be prepared for the criticism that then is going to happen and do the communication right on equal footing. Accept the criticism, listen to it, and process it. But for me, the most important thing is if my resources are not sufficient, the most important advice is do not promise something you cannot deliver. Because that causes frustration at the very moment. You're going to clash with the people that have the needs because they will not or cannot solve the problem for themselves. Accepting the challenge is people with disabilities will not give you a one-size-fits-all answer. What do I have to do to be inclusive? It's a question that you have to ask yourself. Keep in mind that no one of us can avoid of thinking about ourselves in exchange with affected people. So you have to ask yourself, how many people have I met that have a disability? How many people do you have played with? How many people do you help or help maybe in a way that you think that you would be a help, but you didn't ask the people themselves? When it comes to Larp designers and organizers, they, in my opinion, have to emphasize that disability in Larp is not a character that wears an eye patch to be cool. It's more important for me that the representation of disability is one that happens within the world and is happening because we as disabled people are there. We are still there at the very moment in your life, and we are not going away because we have the right to live our lives as non-disabled people too. Real participation means that people with disabilities can also immerse themselves, like words, in order to have experience like everyone else, escape from everyday life for a while. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? We have a couple minutes for questions. I could start while maybe people ask questions on the Discord or raise their hand on Zoom. I was wondering about a paradox that I feel there is a paradox between asking you for your needs and this being you making free work, working for free for the organizers to advise them or sometimes to teach them versus guessing your needs in your place, which as you argued is not ideal for self-determination. So I feel there is a paradox. Do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, giving advice to organizers or LARPers, it's basically mostly in certain particular parts of like what do you have to do to get people to get informed choices. For example, if I have a location for a LARP, then often people, for example, with a wheelchair, don't know what the location looks like. So it's easier to put a lot of pictures of the location on your website, or maybe do a walk around with a camera, a video camera, so that people can see where the location, how the location looks, where the places are, where you're going to play, what you have as an organizer, as a designer in mind, so that people can make the choice by themselves to say, okay, that I can handle with. I can do that with my wheelchair, or maybe uh, I can have a workaround to that. And feel free to um, yeah, make the offer that people. That's probably for me the biggest issue, that often organizers or designers should make the offer that you're willing to talk about and to solve problems, because there's a lot of anxiety to talk about your own issues, about your own needs, when you don't see that the people that are organizing or designing something are willing to do something for you or for your needs. And that's getting a vibe that people are really interested in having you at the lab with your disability, with your needs. That's for me one of the most important things I would advise. And yeah, in a certain situation, would discuss with the organizers or designers how to manage that, and always have to keep them in mind that there are a lot of disabilities you cannot plan in advance, but you have to solve on the fly.
Thank you so much for this. And as someone pointed out on the Discord, when they ask for your opinion, it's better if they listen and do something about it when you answer. We'll switch to the next talk. Thank you, Björn, for your talk.